Have you ever stopped to wonder why, even during moments when everything seems fine, he suddenly disappears? Why, instead of feeling peace, your heart tightens and your mind starts spinning stories? The truth that few are willing to acknowledge is that his silence isn't random. It's not just a lack of interest, it's a message deep down, often invisible to those who don't know how to interpret it. If you're tired of getting lost in this cycle of anxiety, of questioning your worth, of chasing after someone who goes quiet without explanation, I want you to listen very carefully. His silence is not a sign that he doesn't want you. On the contrary, many times it's a strategy, a form of nonverbal communication that says more than words ever could. And if you don't learn to listen to that silence, you will keep misreading it, keep reacting out of insecurity, and keep draining your energy and self-esteem. You might not even realize that this silence is exactly what's holding you back from understanding him, from understanding yourself, and from truly owning your power. Let's be honest, this idea that if he's not constantly reaching out, he doesn't care is something we're taught from childhood. From the time we're young, society bombards us with the idea that love is a constant pursuit, that true interest shows through engagement, through messages, calls, and demonstrations of affection every single day. Many of us grow up believing that a lack of contact means rejection, that we're not enough, that somehow we've failed. But what if that idea is completely wrong? What if the real truth, the powerful truth that few dare to accept, is the opposite? What if silence is actually a reflection of something much deeper, something about him, and ultimately about you? Today, I want to challenge you to see his silence differently, to understand it with a deeper clarity, a wisdom rooted in self-awareness. Because real power doesn't lie in frantic chasing, in obsessive checking, or in trying to decode every text. It's about how you respond, how you keep your peace, your confidence, and your self-love intact when everything goes quiet. Before we go further, let me ask you a question. The last time he didn't message you for 2 days, did you manage to keep your energy steady? Did you avoid obsessively checking your phone? Did you stay calm, or did you start creating stories in your mind about what might be happening? If your answer is no, then you need to stay until the end of this video, because I'm about to share something powerful. You see, the things we often consider red flags are actually signals that reveal more about ourselves than about him. The silent moments, the distance, the pauses, they are like a mirror showing us where we are emotionally, how much we trust ourselves, and how much we have surrendered our inner peace to external validation. Imagine this: every time he is silent, your energy is a light. That light can either flicker with fear or shine brightly with confidence. And it's a choice. You can respond by trembling and shrinking into insecurity, or you can see that silence as an opportunity and invitation to reconnect with who you truly are beyond the relationship. Because here's the truth: the silence isn't just about him, it's about us. And in that silence, there's a message waiting to be deciphered, a lesson ready to be learned. Most women miss this because they're too busy focusing on what's missing, on what they fear they're losing. But I want you to realize something crucial: silence is a form of communication. And often it speaks volumes about his inner world, his doubts, his fears, his processing more than any spoken word ever could. When you learn to interpret this, you reclaim your inner strength and create space for your own growth. Think about it. Have you ever experienced that moment where, despite the hurt, you stayed grounded? When you refused to panic, refused to beg for responses, and instead focused on your own well-being? That moment of control, of calm, is freedom. It's power that begins inside you, a power that no external presence can threaten or diminish. You see, true strength lies in your ability to stay centered, regardless of how much silence or distance he might create. That's where real magic happens. That's where transformation begins. Because a woman who remains rooted in herself, who doesn't lose her peace when he goes quiet, is the one who holds all the cards. When you fully understand that silence is a signal, a message about his current state, not about your worth, everything shifts. Instead of reacting out of fear or desperation, you observe, you breathe, and you choose to respond with grace. You refuse to let the absence crumple you because you know who you are. Now, I want you to imagine a future where you no longer see his silence as a threat, but as an opening for your own self-discovery. When you stop clinging to external validation, your energy begins to radiate authenticity, a confidence that attracts the right people into your life and repels those who are unworthy of your love. So, your challenge today is this: the next time he goes quiet, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what do I need right now? Not what I want from him, not what I hope he offers, but what I genuinely need to feel peaceful. Is it to reconnect with yourself? To go for a walk? To call a friend? To focus on a passion or activity that feeds your soul? Because the real breakthrough is this: when you become your own source of love, validation, and happiness, external silence loses its power over you. Your peace is no longer dependent on his words or actions. You regain your autonomy, your sovereignty, and that's when your true power begins to shine. In that space of self-love and self-awareness, you step into a new realm. A realm where your energy becomes a magnet, attracting people who see your light and are eager to be part of your life, not because they need to fix you, but because they see the fullness of who you are. Remember, every pause, every quiet moment is an invitation for you to deepen your connection with yourself. And when you do that, you'll realize that your worth doesn't depend on how often he messages or whether he's silent now. It depends on your unwavering belief in your inner strength. So, I invite you now, start paying attention to those moments of silence. See them as opportunities, not threats. Use this time to reconnect with your dreams, your passions, your goals. Because in doing so, you're building a life so rich and vibrant that no absence can shake it. This is your moment to step into that power, to redefine love not as dependency but as a beautiful dance between two strong, complete individuals. Remember, silence is not your enemy. It's a mirror reflecting your true inner state, your aligned self, your authentic worth. Stay tuned, because in the next part, I'll share even deeper insights into how to interpret these signals and harness this silence as a transformational tool. But for now, know that your power begins the moment you choose to look inward, to nurture your soul, and to recognize that your value is infinite regardless of what's happening outside. If this message resonated with you, if it helped you see silence in a new light, please give this video a like and share it with a friend who needs to hear this today. Remember, your power lies in your ability to stay centered, to love yourself fiercely, and to choose yourself above all. Subscribe and comment below. How are you going to use this insight starting today? Let's empower each other. Together, we rise. Now that you've started to see silence as a message rather than a problem, I want to take you even further. Because understanding his silence is only the first step. The real transformation happens when you learn to interpret it in a way that empowers you, not just emotionally, but practically in your daily life. You see, most women miss the subtleties, those tiny signals that aren't spoken but are loud enough for your intuition to pick up. When a man pulls away, pauses, or withdraws, that's rarely a sign of complete disinterest. Instead, it's often a reflection of his internal state, what's happening inside him, not you. A key point to remember is that men process emotions and stress differently. Society has conditioned them to hide vulnerability, to wrestle silently with their doubts. They often see emotional expression as a sign of weakness, so they retreat into their own world instead. It's not personal, it's physiological, conditioned, cultural. That's an important distinction because it's what allows you to not take his silence as a personal rejection. Think of his silence like the ocean, calm on the surface, but holding currents beneath. Sometimes the surface appears still, but underneath, there are powerful movements. When you learn to read those movements, the subtle shifts in energy, body language, or response, you realize that you're not just a passive spectator. You're an intuitive observer who understands the language of silent signals. For example, has he been distant, avoiding eye contact, or replying with short messages? These are signs of internal conflict. Maybe he's overwhelmed by responsibilities, anxious about the relationship, or simply processing his feelings. Whatever the reason, those signals are his way of telling you that he needs space, not because he wants to end things, but because he's trying to figure himself out. And here's the crucial realization: your response to these signals determines your power. When you recognize these subtle signs, you gain control over your emotional state, and you avoid unnecessary pain. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can choose to give him space while maintaining your inner peace. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if he keeps pulling away? What if he's really not interested? That's a valid question, and here's the honest answer. Sometimes silence is a sign of disinterest, but not every silence. And more importantly, if someone repeatedly pulls away without explanation, that's a pattern, and a pattern indicates where your boundaries need to be, because your inner power isn't just about understanding him. It's also about understanding yourself. It's about knowing what you will accept and what you won't. It's about recognizing that silent treatment or inconsistency is a form of emotional immaturity or avoidance, and that you deserve clarity, respect, and genuine communication. When you learn to see silence as a reflection of his inner world, you also begin to understand what your boundaries are. You realize that your peace is precious and that you don't have to chase, justify, or explain your worth. Instead, you stand firm, calmly observing and honoring your own emotional needs. This is where the magic of authentic self-love begins. Because when your confidence is rooted in understanding, not desperation, others feel that energy. They sense it, and it naturally attracts the right people. Those who respect your space, value your calm, and seek genuine connection. Let me explain something very important. You will never attract someone who truly loves and respects you if you are constantly reacting to his silence out of desperation. That energy is transparent. It creates a push and pull dynamic that repels rather than attracts. But when you remain centered, when your peace is unshakable regardless of what he does or doesn't do, then you magnetize those who are aligned with your true worth. Here's a practical tip. When he pulls away, instead of obsessing over what's wrong, focus on what's right. Focus on your life, your goals, your passions. Let his silence be a catalyst to deepen your connection with yourself. Because ultimately, the most valuable relationship you have is the one with your own soul. Use that moment of silence to ask yourself, what do I want to create today? What actions bring me closer to my dreams? How can I invest in myself right now? Start a project, reconnect with an old hobby, spend time with loved ones, or simply take care of your body and mind. Think of it this way. His silence is an invitation not to chase him, but to chase your own growth. Every moment you choose to prioritize yourself instead of reacting impulsively is a step towards true empowerment, and let me tell you, this shift in perspective changes the game completely. When you stop looking for his validation and start building your own life, everything shifts: your confidence, your energy, your relationships. Because you start to understand that your value isn't dictated by external validation, but by how deeply you love and honor yourself. When you do this consistently, people can feel it. Men can feel it. They sense when a woman is complete on her own, when her happiness isn't dependent on their actions. And that's when the magic truly happens. Instead of chasing, you attract. So, today, I want you to practice this. Next time he goes quiet, breathe. Remember that silence is a mirror. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Then give yourself that, whether it's space, joy, or an activity that feeds your soul honor that need. Because the more you do that, the more your inner power grows. Your journey isn't about fixing him or trying harder. It's about aligning with your true self. It's about building a life so filled with passion, purpose, and peace that no absence or silence can shake it. This is the true magic, living fully in your own power, radiating confidence from within. And let me tell you this, once you understand this at a deep level, nothing can steal your light. No silence, no distance, no uncertainty. That's the power of knowing who you are and owning your worth. Your next step, practice this today. The next time he goes quiet, pause, take a deep breath, ask yourself, what do I need right now? And then give that to yourself with love and confidence. Because that's where your true power begins. Now that you've begun to see silence as an insightful message rather than an obstacle, it's time to take this understanding and turn it into a foundation for absolute empowerment. Because real change happens when you internalize that your worth isn't determined by whether he reaches out or pulls away. It's rooted in your unwavering self-love and the certainty that you are complete on your own. Understanding that silence is often an expression of his internal world, stress, or processing, you realize that it's not about you at all, it's about him. It's what Jung describes as a projection of his inner conflicts. When you grasp this, you stop interpreting his distance as a personal rejection or a sign of inadequacy. Instead, you see it as a reflection of his state, and you protect your peace by not taking it internally. This shift in perception is revolutionary because it puts you back in the driver's seat. It empowers you to create boundaries, to focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, your reactions, your growth. And that's where real magic begins. Let's take this further. Think of your life as a garden, a lush, expansive space that invites growth and beauty. When someone enters your life, they're like a visitor, but your garden remains yours, wild, free, and full of potential. When you respond to silence with anxiety or desperation, it's like weeds growing uncontrollably. But when you respond with love for yourself, with patience and clarity, it's like nurturing the soil, pruning what no longer serves, and allowing your inner garden to flourish. The most powerful women I've known are those who turn their focus inward. They realize that their happiness, their self-esteem, their fulfillment come from cultivating their inner landscape. They ask, what am I doing today to nourish my mind, my body, my spirit? Instead of waiting for external validation, they invest in themselves, their passions, their friendships, their careers, and each small step compounds. Day by day, they build a life so vibrant, so aligned with their highest self, that the question of silence ceases to hold power over them. They become women who radiate self-reliance, confidence, and authenticity. Women who don't need others to feel complete, but who love themselves so fiercely that others are naturally drawn to their light. This process requires deep inner work, yes, facing insecurities, shedding limiting beliefs, breaking free from patterns of emotional dependence. But it also requires a mindset shift, a change in how you see love, relationships, and your own value. Because, ultimately, love isn't about chasing or convincing. It's about attraction, drawing what aligns with your true self. Here's a key insight: the greatest act of self-love is to give yourself permission to be whole, even in moments of uncertainty. To accept that silence, absence, or distance are part of life, not an indication of your worth. When you meet the silence with openness, patience, and even gratitude, you kill the power that fear and insecurity hold over you. So, how do you do that in practice? Begin noticing your thoughts and reactions. When someone goes quiet, are you jumping into panic mode? Are you questioning your worth? Or can you observe these thoughts without judgment? Practice mindfulness and meditation. Develop the ability to return to your center, no matter what external circumstances are happening. Create a personal ritual of affirmations. I am enough. My peace comes from within. I am worthy of love and respect. Repeat these daily, especially during moments of silence or uncertainty. Focus on your passions. Reignite old hobbies or explore new ones. Fill your day with activities that make your soul light up. The more you nurture your inner world, the less you'll rely on external validation to feel whole. And when someone sees that within you, that radiant self-respect and independence, they're irresistibly drawn like moths to a flame. Now, here's a powerful realization: the women who succeed in this inner transformation often report that their whole dynamic with men changes dramatically. Instead of chasing or feeling anxious, they attract healthier, deeper connections. Their energy is magnetic because they're no longer trying to fix or control, they're simply living their truth. They become the kind of women who, when they walk into a room, radiate confidence and authenticity, and this confidence isn't arrogance. It's love for oneself that shines from within. When you love yourself unapologetically, you emit a frequency that draws love, respect, and genuine connection into your life. One of the most profound lessons I've learned is that the universe responds to your inner state. When you emanate peace and self-assurance, external circumstances shift to mirror that energy. Men notice that calm, that presence, and they're naturally attracted to it. They sense that you don't need them to feel complete. You simply choose to share your life with those who respect your fullness. So here's my tip for you today: make a commitment to yourself. Design a daily practice that reaffirms your self-worth. Whether it's journaling, meditating, exercising, or setting clear boundaries, do something that anchors you in your power. Because the more you invest in yourself, the less their silence will shake your foundation. And remember, every moment of silence is an invitation for growth, a space for you to deepen your self-awareness and resilience. Instead of seeing it as a threat, welcome it as a gift. Because the greatest gift you can give yourself is the certainty that your happiness depends on you and no one else. Now, let me remind you, the woman who owns her power, who nurtures her soul daily, is the woman who never truly loses. No matter how much distance, silence, or uncertainty arises, she remains anchored in her truth. She knows her worth, and she knows that love begins within. When you build this harmony within, everything around you becomes clearer. Your relationships become more genuine, your decisions more confident, and your peace unshakable. That's the real transformation: becoming a woman who radiates love from a place of fullness, not lack. And when he finally returns, because he will, at the right time, he will be captivated by your authenticity. Not by your neediness, but by your completeness. Not by your desperation, but by your confidence. So today, I want you to commit to one act of self-love. Decide that you will honor your inner world, nurture your passions, and walk your path with courage. Because this is how you create your own happiness, your own freedom, and your own undeniable power.